Alright, hello everybody. Conman here, how you doing? Have a long time no see. It's been a while. Been a little bit busy with the real life thing, doing real life stuff, work and whatnot. So unfortunately I haven't had the chance to make any videos in the recent time. I do plan to change that soon. Kind of just been messing around here with some QM games when I can and a bit of ranked. Back up to rank 3, fortunately. Hoping to kind of push that a little bit further in like the next week or so before the end of the season. Get some more videos out soon. Still have some ideas. Haven't forgotten about it, so I still plan to go back to it. Also, maybe stream a little bit, more than I had been at least. A little bit on the YouTube. Got that set up now, as well as Twitch and Mixer. But anyway, that's enough about me. Let's talk about why we're here and what we're going to talk about. If you haven't heard by now, and I'm sure if you're watching this that you have, Blizzard has announced the next hero that's going to be released into the Nexus, as well as an event that comes along with it. There's also a patch today that was released, some patch notes, actually pretty interesting patch notes that we'll get into. So, let's talk about the new hero. We'll pull it up here. It is, if you haven't already heard, this will be a surprise to you, it is Kel'thuzad. Kel'thuzad, the Lich. Is he of a gender? Is it of a gender? I'm not even sure. Anyway, so Kel'thuzad is going to be the next hero. He's probably the most requested hero from the community for a long time. Maybe Deathwing would be more. I'm not sure. They're kind of neck and neck, but Kel'thuzad is next. There is up in Gamescom, which is going on, or I don't even know if it's still going on, but it just happened over at in Germany. Blizzard announced this. There's going to be a whole event that's going to come along with it. So let's talk about it. I'll link this. You can see here we're on the official Battle.net page. So I'll link this in the description. All the websites that I look through right now, we'll link you in the description. So feel free to check them out on your own time when you're done. There is a cool, like a really actually neat cinematic. You can see it sort of playing in the background. There is an introductory cinematic called. Wow, that's really loud. We'll close it out. So that's super loud. Go check that out. I really like the art style. I like what they did with the cinematic there. Definitely worth the 2 minutes of your day to go take a look at that. So let's talk Kel'thuzad. Kel'thuzad is the new hero. There's already been some details that were released. He is an assassin. He's basically a mage. I'm sure he's going to have mana. Here's his trait. So here's what I like here. Look at this. Master of the Cold Dark. It's a quest talent, or a quest trait. Gain 1 blight every time a hero is rooted by Frost Nova or Chains of Kel'thuzad. Those are 2 of his abilities. After 15, the cooldown of all basic abilities is reduced by 2 seconds. And then after 30, you gain 75% spell power. As far as I know, and this isn't set in stone, so don't hold me to this or quote me on this or anything. But as far as I know, this is not lost on death. So what this means is that Kel'thuzad is going to be, based on at least the trait, it's going to be a late game hero. He's going to, as I readjust my chair, excuse me, it's going to be a late game hero. He's going to grow in power as the game goes on, and as he lands his skill shots, he's just going to get stronger, and it's going to work out for him. Let's take a quick peek at his abilities that we've got up here. After 5 seconds, launch an orb that explodes, deals a bunch of damage, and it will root enemies in the center and just do damage to the enemies around the outer edge. Frost Nova is not a Frost Nova in the World of Warcraft mage sense, but it's like an arranged ability that you can use to root people. Chains, I think they are rooted, right? Okay, I take that back. Frost Nova is where they're rooted. Death of Decay does not root in the center as far as I know. It just does a bunch of damage. Take that back. Chains of Kel'thuzad. This is the really cool ability that I'm looking forward to playing with. So, launch a chain, you hit a hero, it does some damage, great, that's straightforward. Then for a couple of seconds, if you can launch the chain at another hero, and if you hit them, it will actually pull them together, as I get this on camera, it will pull them together and stun them for a half second. Or you can hit a hero and then hit a structure and pull them into the structure. Or you can hit the structure first and then chain the hero. It looks like there are a lot of combinations that you can do that were shown off. There is the spotlight video already, which you can check out. Again, go take a look at this. It shows all of the abilities in the games already, so I definitely recommend to go take a look at that. And then he's got 2 heroics here. Frost Blast, or as somebody on Reddit has already called it, Cryoblast. So it's kind of like the reverse of Kel'thuzad's Pyroblast, in which it does do the same functionality where it's just kind of a targeted ability that will follow the hero as they go along, but when it hits them, it does more damage to people in an AoE around the hero, and it does less damage to the one that it actually hits. And any enemy that's hit, whether in the main target or the AoE, they all get rooted. So that's kind of neat. And the next one here is Shadow Fissure, which looks to be so create a fissure on the battleground that explodes after 1.5 seconds, and it deals a bunch of damage. It's sort of a ranged, targetable, I guess Diablo Apocalypse would be the closest analog, but it's global, so you can cast this anywhere that you have sight, that you've got vision. So that's kind of neat. Really interesting. There is let's stop here. Some of the talents have already been released, so that we know of here. This is up on the HeroesHearth page, so I'll link this as well. There are a couple. I'm not going to go through everything, since I'm sure there's stuff still being hammered out, but there are a couple ones that I want to point out that I found that were fun. First off, level 4, Phylactery of Kel'thuzad. Phylactery, I pronounced that right, yeah? Quest: collect 10 regen globes to charge Kel'thuzad's Phylactery. So again, starting from level 4, so you'll have a couple of globes that you'll pick up that won't count, but you can get this pretty quick on a lot of maps. Only 10. Once you charge this, you can cash those in to respawn immediately. Now, maybe the respawn timer at level 4, doesn't make a big difference. But the other thing is, when you have, let me move it here. When you have this charged, 10% of all the spell damage that you deal is going to heal you. So there's going to be some interesting play there, some choices you need to make. Whether do you want to respawn immediately and lose that lifesteal, or do you want to cash this in straight away and respawn to get back to a fight or get back to an objective or something like that. So that's really interesting. I think that's going to be strong. There were some other cool ones that were going through here, and then the other one that I liked here was level 20, shifting. Here we go. Shifting Malice. Activate the dash forward. You deal a bunch of damage to enemies in the path. Takedowns, reset the cooldown of Shifting Malice. So I think, again, Kale's going to be a late game kind of hero by the looks of it. He's going to have a lot of crowd control between the Frost Nova and the Chains. I'm looking forward to playing him. I'm interested to see where he breaks out on where he ends up in terms of health and stuff like that. I think a lot of the cooldowns haven't been released, at least not that I'm aware of. As you can see here, lots of damage, decent utility. Survivability is small. I have a feeling his health pool is going to be tiny, and he doesn't look like he's got any real mobility abilities other than what's already there. So there's kind of that. So we'll see how this goes. In addition to this, I did mention there's a whole event talking, leading up to this. I think there's going to be some new maps that are going to be released, if I read correctly. I don't think that's officially up here on the Blizzard page yet, but if I was reading the interwebs the right way, there's going to be some new maps, two maps that are going to be released at some point. Up here in the page, there's some resurrecting Kel'thuzad trailer. I guess they're going to have a series of videos that's going to come out over the next couple of days, kind of behind the scenes stuff. So that's really neat. Check that out if that's your thing. There's some new skins that were in that first video that we linked here. So we got Dreadlord Jaina, we've got Crypt Queen Zagara, and then Death Knight. I'm not even a Sonya player, but that is a cool skin. I do want to check it out just for that. There is, also the usual Flare kind of stuff that's going to be released. You got some portraits, you got some sprays, and some emotes or emojis or whatever the hell you guys are calling it these days. So that'll be out there. Lots of stuff to get put into the loot boxes. And then looks like there's going to be a quest event. So it's going to be, let's see, available on 9/5, which I believe is when the event gets released. Open until 9/25, so 20 days. There is, let's pull this up here so you can see it. So part 1, play a game with Kel'Thuzad on either team. So that'll be easy. Everyone will get it. You get a portrait. Part 2 of 4, achieve 30 takedowns. Actually, part 2, 3, and 4 are all about getting takedowns in winning games. So 30, 60, 90. It seems like it might be a lot, except you figure, you look at this, over the course of 20 days, 10 takedowns a game, that's only 9 games that you actually have to win, and AI games count. I don't know if you can hear that, my friend's trying to invite me to a game in the background, so sorry buddy, I will catch up with you in a bit. So yeah, AI games work, so I mean if you want to grind out some AI games really quick, you'll get this no problem, but you get a portrait, you get 3 portraits, you get a spray, and you get a banner. I do like this NAXXRAMAS banner. That's going to be pretty neat, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be using that. So that's kind of what we know officially so far. I think there's going to be more to come, So we'll take a look at that. So other than that, what else do we have here? We have, let's scroll up here, we've got a patch that was released today, August 23rd. There are a lot of heroes that were touched, and I scanned through this a little bit, but we'll go through it real quick. I'm confused about some of the changes that were put forward. I do have a feeling that these are a precursor to some of the other changes that are going to come out in that event. So also, speaking of Kel'thuzad once more time, my understanding is the PTR for this is going to come out next week, and then on the 5th is when this is going to be released live on production. So I can't wait to see what the queue for Kel'thuzad is going to be on the PTR once he comes out. But in addition to some of these, so at Gamescom, there were already some of the streamers that were there, some of the guys that were there. There were already some changes that made it into this, build, it looks like, into this patch, and you know, we'll talk about those. There were also some other changes that were they didn't make it in, that were hinted about based on Eagle interwebs. You can find that it's up on Reddit or some, in other places right now. There were some Chromie changes that were talked about. I think Tyrael might have had something. There were rumors of some Sergeant Hammer stuff that I don't know how accurate that is. So we'll see whether that gets released and what that's going to look like in coming to the event. Let's go through this real quick. First off, we'll start off here. A lot of balance stuff, lots of them. I mean, I think there's like 15 heroes, you know, across the board. So, Alarak, level 4, negatively charged, damage bonus increased from 3 to 5%. Level 13, Blade of the Hide Lord, sadism bonus increased 6 to 7, and the cap increased 35%. Just straight buffs, nothing major here. Both of these were I think the lower pick talents. I don't have hot slugs up in front of me right now, but I think negatively charged was not picked often. Most often, level 4, you ended up with the Discord Strike quest. Chaos Reigns, I think, was the name of it. But the Discord Strike quest. And at 13, most people ended up taking Rite of Rakshir. So just some buffs to under-picked talents, maybe underperforming talents. So nothing major there. Illidan got a big, I won't say a big nerf, but it's a nerf to his hunt. Cooldown increased from 60 to 100 seconds, 40-second increase. That's actually quite a lot. Dev comments, with his built-in cooldown reduction from Betrayer's Thirst, we wanted to give his enemies a bit more time to prepare. I'll bet he didn't see that coming. Very cheeky, Blizzard. So we'll see how that goes. As somebody who plays a bunch of quick match, I'm actually glad to see that, both to play against it and both so that people on my team don't hunt into you know, the entire enemy team and get killed instantly. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, so that's kind of a nerf to the hunt. Kerrigan gets the nerf bat as well in a couple of places. Ravage, damage reduced by 18. Impaling Blades does get a small buff. Primal Grasp does get a small buff. The damage is increased in both. At level 1, Energizing Grasp just removed. Goodbye. Level 7, Adaptation also removed, which I don't understand either of these changes here. Let's look dev comments. Kerrigan's win rate has been at a steady 1 to 2% climb each patch for the last few months, if you say so. While she's not demanding picks or bans at the moment, as of last week she was still sitting on top of the Nexus. After closely analyzing her numbers, there was nothing standing out as a major reason for her climb upwards, so instead of doing anything massive, we felt it best to do a slight damage redistribution, moving a small percentage of her Ravage damage to her other abilities. Let's take a look. I'm curious right now. So if we go look here, I'm gonna pull up here. You hear HOTS logs. I didn't have it in front of me, but now I do. Let's look. Kerrigan across all leagues. Where is she? She is 52%, and there is an increase in HOTS logs. That's across all leagues. Only a 12% pick rate though, so it's not like she was super popular or anything like that. And if we filter this, just we'll do Master. We'll do Master Diamond, just to get a big representation. And she is 54% at Master and Diamond and holding steady. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that's anything to be worried about. I'm not quite sure. So Energizing Grasp was removed, and nobody took it anyways. You can see only 2.8% people actually even took it. What was the other one that was pulled? Was Adaptation. Also the least picked talent. So they just nuked it. I guess if you're not going to take it, and they're not only were they underperforming here, it looks like, yeah, that was the lowest win rate, lowest win rate, least picked. So they just got rid of them across the board. So there's that. So there's Kerrigan for you. So that's interesting. Butcher. Now we talked about, if you watched my video on the Butcher when he was redone the other day, I figured he was going to be a beast in the quick match, and I think I was proven to be fairly correct. I don't know what his win rate here is in Butcher. 59% across all leagues. There you go. How about that? That's Hero League only. Oh, it's quick match. I'm sorry. Yeah, 60% in the Master Diamond leagues. Actually, let's go. I wonder what was Kerrigan in Hero League, because looks like I was looking at quick match before. Kerrigan, yeah, I guess she's up there as well. So there you have it. Butcher 55% in Hero League in Master Diamond, so it's still up there. They did nerf him a little bit. Basic attack damage reduced. They took that down a notch by 5. Fresh meat, so they changed his trait. Meat from hero kills reduced from 25 to 20. So previously you needed, I think, 8 hero kills in order to meet up if you didn't lose any. Now that's going to get changed a little bit. Somebody math for me, I don't know, 10, 12, I'm not quite sure. I think it's less than 12, probably 9 or 10. Somebody do the math and post it in the comments. I don't care enough to figure it out right now. But more than 8. Let's just leave it at that. Meat lost on death increased from 10 to 15. So it also makes, here's an interesting thing, it also makes trades less forgiving. It actually punishes you more. So previously, you killed a hero and then got instantly killed. As long as you picked up the meat, you got 25 meat. You got killed, you lost 10 meat. That's still a net gain of 15. Now, you know, you lose the time for being dead, but still a net gain of 15. Now it's only a net gain of 5. So it heavily disincentivizes. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do trades now, at least a 1-for-1 trade. It makes you not want to do that. That's where we're going. Level 7, Insatiable Blade, removed the bonus healing, but it did increase the movement speed slightly. So one of the beauties of Insatiable Blade is you drop your brand on people and you get increased bonus healing, which made it very easy for Butcher to just lock onto somebody and heal back up. So I guess they're going to get rid of that. Victual's passive heal increase from 4 to 5% for minion death. Okay. At 16, Crippling Slam. Bonus duration increased from 25 to 30%. And in Rage, they actually chunked down the armor bonus from 25 to 15, which was a very popular talent. So, dev comment. From inception, Butcher had a long, healthy life amongst the top 5 win rate heroes in the game. Excuse me. Previously, this was isolated to quick match, and his overall play rate wasn't high enough for having any major concerns. After the newest rate of changes, he had stayed true to his name in quick match. Yeah, he's been pretty impressive. And he's beginning to pick up steam in ranked play. We agreed with the massive amounts of feedback that felt to be odd that Butcher could so willingly trade for his life. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Do the trades to progress his quest. These changes to his meat gain loss should help him bring these situations more in line with the talent changes. Yeah, that's about right. I think this is going to take Butcher down a notch. It's going to, he's still going to want to get kills. He's still going to want to hang out with his team and get kills in the early game, as opposed to farming minions. But, you know, you're not going to want to just suicide and get trades early. So I think that's really what they're working for here. So there you go. We'll see how that affects him. Also, Enraged, what was the Enraged pick rate? I imagine it's going to be pretty high. If we look here, 70%. Yeah. Yep. And that's a pretty damn good win rate. I mean, we're quick match all leagues. Let's just look at that. Quick match all leagues past the last 7 days. I mean, basically, like, the win rate here is you get to 16, it's just stupid good. That's a really good talent. So when you couple the fact that when you enrage, you get attack speed, you get armor, and you can brand somebody and heal on top of that, it made him really just stupid hard to kill unless you can CC the hell out of him. So there's that. So there's Butcher for you. Thrall gets some changes as well. Chain Lightning, mana reduced, so that's a buff. Level 1, Crash Lightning, damage per stack increased. Rolling Thunder, mana return stack increased. Level 4, Mana Tide, mana return reduced slightly by 5. And then at 16, new functionality to Thunderstorm, damage from the final crest reward now also applies to Chain Lightning bounces. So Thrall, who I thought was underperforming, got some buffs, nothing major, just some tweaks here and there. Zul'jin, Bone Slicer, damage increased, level 1. Okay, there you go. And let's look at Zul'jin. Where is he here? Makes sense if I can actually type. Zul'jin. Where was Bone Slicer in the pick right here? It was, yeah, one of the last picks. So a lot of these abilities that I was going through, when I was looking through these patch notes, a lot of these things were really primed a lot of the underperforming or underpicked talents, and it looks like this is just another one. Nothing too outrageous to make it the talent that you're going to want to go for. Looks like overall everyone goes Yuan Axe. I mean, the few times that I played Zul'jin, that's usually what I picked. But it just gives you some incentive to maybe think about choosing a different talent, which is kind of, I guess, where they're going with that. Zul gets smacked with the nerf bat a little bit. Your skeleton health across the board is reduced. Skeletal Mage cooldown is increased by 20 seconds. Level 7, Trogul's Essence healing reduced from 1 to 0.5% per skeleton basic attack. The mana return was increased slightly from 0.4 to 0.5. And then at level 13, Echoes of Death damage reduced from 70 to 60% of spectral sights and damage. So that was another popular one here. That was the ability where when you cast it, spectral scythe would then split or like spawn 2 other ones on either side and go down. So that was a very popular talent. So they nerfed that a little bit. So Zul, since the rework, has been very, very strong. So this is just, again, nothing major. Just we're going to chunk him down just a little bit. Zagara, a Mutalisk, duration reduced from 45 to 30 seconds at level 16. So that was the Mutalisk, was the flyer of your Hydralisk. Stayed up there damn near forever. So there you go. I got chunked down by 15 seconds. I don't think this is going to have a huge impact on her gameplay, but just something to consider. Oriol got some changes. These are some of the changes that were talked about on the interwebs at the Gamescom stuff, and some of this actually made it to this patch. Let's talk about it. Bestow Hope. Her trait, straight away, her trait generation ratio from hitting heroes increased from 40 for 50%. So just straight off the board, she just gets more hope from heroes. Now you might say, wow, now that's kind of crazy, but let's talk about the rest of it. Sacred Sweep, outer damage reduced, but the center damage increased. So this is going to reward just making sure that you hit the center. Detainment Strike, the initial damage is reduced, but the stun damage is increased. So again, incentivizes hitting people with the stun, not just hitting them to hit them, but actually landing the stun. The Resurrect cooldown was reduced 20 seconds. And then here we go, level 7, Bursting Light was removed. This is the big one, and this is why that this is okay. So Bursting Light was the trait at level 7, which let her cast her heal on a 2-second timer. It reduced the cooldown by 2 seconds, only a 4-second timer, chopped it down to 2. And this right here is the reason why, when she was paired with such a hyper carry, or somebody, when you give her a Vala, or you give her Cho'Gall, man, or if you give her even Gul'dan, someone who can just generate, you know, lots and lots of energy for her, she can just spam out heals in an AoE on 2-second cooldown, which makes it a big difference. So the idea that they're going for, let's go through the comments. These changes are designed to reduce the reliance that Oriol has upon a hyper carry style character to be an effective healer, by increasing the amount of hope that she can generate, but removing Bursting Light and its ability to reduce the cooldown of Ray of Heaven. Oriol will have more consistent healing output regardless of who is currently bestowing hope. We're also reducing the damage that Oriol does on average by getting it behind the most of her basic abilities. Yeah, by reducing the synergy that Oriol has on a single massive source of damage and reducing her damage output, we hope to make her less common. Let's look. Let's go with Oriol real fast. Where is she? She is, I can't type for crap today, but there she is. Let's go level 7, Bursting Light. Reduces the cooldown of Ray Heaven by 2 seconds. I'm actually surprised this wasn't selected more. But maybe that's people who just don't have that crazy hyper carry. But that's the idea. The idea that they're going for here is that they make her, that she'll pair well with more heroes rather than just your crazy damage dealer straight away. I'm not sure how this is going to play out yet. I'm curious to see how this is going to go. There's only about a week and a half to, there's only about a week and a half left in the season as well, so that's interesting change. We'll see how that plays out. I think this is going to change her playstyle quite a lot, at least in terms of that particular combination, but we'll see how it goes. It is going to reward more careful skill shots, that's for sure, just based on the abilities here. Lucio. Pardon me, base maximum health just increased, and his regen was increased. Yeah, nothing special there, they just made him harder to kill. So there you go, there's a buff. Tazadar. Basic attack. Tassadar, man. Tassadar just changed every single patch. I would be curious if you go through. I'd be curious if you go through all of the patches from like the end of time and just see which hero had changed the most. And I bet Tassadar would be up there. Anyway, basic attack damage reduced from 15 to 14, so his base attack damage was taken down slight notch. His maximum health was chunked, 1426 to 1355, and accordingly that regen was reduced. And then level 1, Kidarin, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, Resonance. Bonus mana from regen globes increased from 50 to 100%. So they incentivize taking this one, and they kind of nerf him across the board. So they just slightly dial him back. Tyrande gets some buffs. Celestial Attunement, added functionality, also removes silences. So that's the ability that if you cast your heal on players, it will remove the stun. So now it'll also remove silence. So she gets some counterplay with some silences. Here's looking at you, Alarak. Kaldarai Resistance. Max spell armor stacks reduced from 4 to 3. So there's a thing. Level 13 in power gets some added functionality. Also lowers the base cooldown of Sentinel by 4 seconds. Harsh Moonlight, slow amount reduced, damage reduction amount from 30 to 25%. So there you go. So some slight buffs on the level 4 to Celestial Attunement. You get a little buff here to Empower if you took that, and some small tweaks overall. So I don't know how that's going to play out. But again, this seems to be the theme of this balance patch. Nothing major, just kind of tuning the knobs just a little bit. Uther does get some interesting changes. There are lots of support changes. His trait, heal on the trait, the armor is reduced from 25 to 15, which is actually kind of a big deal. In accordance, though, his heals were increased. Holy Light, healing increased from 360 to 380. Self-healing was increased by 10 to 190. Holy Radiance, healing and damage both increased from 160 to 185. Level 1, Wave of Light, bonus duration to armor buff on quest completion reduced from 1 to half a second. Mana return reduced from 8. So that's a nerf to his level 1 Wave of Light talent, which I think was the most picked. Let's take a look here. Uther, we'll pull him up because I typed good. Wave of Light, yep, that was the most picked talent by far. So there you go. Let's go back over here. Holy Fire passive, which is again another probably Holy Fire, the most picked talent by a long shot. Damage reduced 16 to 14 per second. Dev comments. We found that by increasing the niche of Uther, players could easily build teams with 2 supports that were incredibly difficult to counter, thereby creating a slow gameplay trend that could be frustrating to play against. We think it's great to see double support every once in a while, but Uther enabled it too well when paired with only any other healer. By reducing, let me get back to the mic here, by reducing the armor he grants via the trait and getting a little more healing throughput, Uther should feel slightly more well-rounded. So essentially what I'm getting out of this is Blizzard said, screw you, double healer meta. And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I'm surprised they tweaked. I would expect to see some more. I'm actually surprised I didn't see it from Kel'Thuzad, although I didn't go through all his talents. Just more talents that reduce the amount of healing received. There are a couple of heroes that can do that already. I'm surprised we didn't see more of that introduced, actually. Warriors, Chen. I don't know what Blizzard has against Chen or what they're having in store. His base health reduced. His health regen reduced accordingly as well. Level 7, Refreshing Elixir, just goodbye, it's gone. Purifying Brew is moved from level 20 to 7, which seems really good, except the cooldown is increased from 10 to 45 seconds, which makes it, less incentive to use it. And then a level 16, Flying Leap, bonus range reduced from 20 to 15. These are just, all of these, in my opinion, are just nerfs across the board. I don't think he was particularly strong. He had a very low pick rate. He has a bug right now with one of his talents. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to advertise a bug, but there's already a bug with one of his talents, which is, I think, artificially inflating some of his strength as well. So hopefully that will get fixed soon. Maybe they'll go back and revisit him. I'm not quite sure where they're going with this one, but there you go. I'm not a huge Chen player, or Fat Illidan as I like to call him, but we'll see where he ends up after that. Garrosh, here we go, last hero. Warlord's Challenge, his taunt, Duration increased from 1.5 to 2 seconds. At level 1, Unrivaled Strength, increased throw range from 20 to 30%, and bonus damage from 100 to 25%. Let's find Garrosh. I'm curious what his pick rates are. I think his win rate is actually on the low side. Yeah, 47% here. So Unrivaled Strength, actually, there you go. It was up there. So I'm surprised to see that got buffed a little bit, but there you go. I'm actually surprised to see Body Check at so low, but pick rate, I guess some of the other abilities are just much better. Excuse me. Level 4, in for the kill, increased bonus damage from 60 to 70%. Now I'm actually really surprised here as I burp again. I'm actually really surprised. I like in for the kill a lot. I think it's really good. I think it gives you a lot of lane pressure. At least if you're in a solo lane, you know, it's free. Basically, if you kill somebody with it, it's free mana. It's really good on maps that have minions, Infernal Shrines, Haunted Mines, stuff like that. I understand why Thirst for Battle is so good, but I do think in for the kill is really strong, and it's the highest win rate of the picks. But so they just gave it a slight increase. There you go. And then level 7, Into the Fray, no longer increases, or no longer uses mana, excuse me, no longer costs mana. So Into the Fray, you want to throw your friends around, you can do it for free. There you go. So there's a buff. So a couple of buffs to Garrosh, depending on your picks. I think Warlord's Challenge was not selected quite as often. Yeah, Decimate, there you go, almost 70%, which kind of makes sense. So there's some more incentive to pick Warlord's Challenge. So there you have it. Couple of bug fixes. Resurrecting Uther, yeah, that was an interesting interaction, so they fixed that. There we go. I don't think there's anything. Yeah, nothing too crazy with the bug fixes. So some interesting changes, nothing major across the board with the balance patch. Just a lot of stuff that they kind of tweaked the knobs a little bit. My suspicion is these may make more sense when the PTR is released next week, and I'm sure there are going to be more wider sweeping changes that come across with that as well. So we'll see. Anyhow, we're coming up almost on a half hour here, so I will shut the hell up and let you go back to your day. I will put all of these wonderful links in the description of the comments. Go feel free to check it out in your own time. Definitely, if you do nothing else, go check out the cinematic. It is friggin' awesome. That's super neat. And then the spotlight video also, so you can actually see some of these abilities that I was mumbling through in action. It's pretty cool. Anyhow, we'll see you soon. Once the PTR is released, I will definitely get my hands on some Kel'thuzad one way or the other, and we'll play a little bit, and we'll probably make a video about it, or two, or whatever. We'll talk about it, and there'll be some more changes to come, and hope to see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Take care.